जय हिंद दोस्तों। भाई, आज
जय
मुझे बड़ी खुशी हो रही है कि मैं अपने एक ऐसे इलस्ट्रियस सीनियर के साथ गुफ्तगू में होऊंगा, भाई जो किसी तारुफ की मोहताज नहीं है। इन्होंने अभी हाल ही में एक किताब लिखी है और आप जब पढ़ेंगे वो किताब, आप सबका दिल करेगा कि इस किताब को लें, इसके बारे में बताएं लोगों को, क्योंकि वो किताब एक बहुत रियल किताब है। आपने किताबें पढ़ी होंगी, तो ये किताबें हैं, बहुत किताबें पढ़ी होंगी, लेकिन रियल किताब, रियल हीरोज के ऊपर। भाई इनसे गुफ्तगू करते हैं। ये डब्ल्यू एस ई एस होता है विमेन्स शॉर्ट सर्विस की, जैसे कि हमारा ऑफिसर्स का होता है एसएस शॉर्ट सर्विस। तो डब्ल्यू एस की ये 5th कोर्स के हैं। इनिशियल बैच ऑफ लेडी ऑफिसर्स जब वो इंडक्ट हुए थे फौज में, इनसे उसके बारे में, जर्नी के बारे में जानेंगे। और जानेंगे भाई, क्योंकि ये फौजी की बेटी हैं, खुद फौजी रह चुकी हैं, फौजी की बीवी भी हैं, फौजी की दोस्त भी हैं, एंड शी इज लाइक अमेजिंग, रियली अमेजिंग, रियली अमेजिंग।
Thank
हाँ
you
हाँ,
so much
aura
for this.
and a charisma, you'll discover it. It'll unfurl as she speaks. So please welcome Captain Asha Shinde Alagappa, ma'am. Ma'am, Jai Hind, and thank you for taking your
Jai
time, ma'am.
Hind. Thank you so much for the illustrious introduction. It's never ever heard from anybody. You're just pouring out like anything. Thank you so much for that. It is beautiful to hear somebody saying all that, but I don't deserve so much of it. I'm a simple human being. I'm a ground soldier. That's me.
Superb, man, superb.
Yeah,
Ma'am, first tell us initially what motivated, before we come to your book, we'll come to your book subsequently,
sure.
but what motivated you to join the, we know you went to, you did your schooling from Pune, you went to Symbiosis in Pune, you did your management from there. We know, but tell me what motivated you to join the army apart from your father being in the army himself?
Yes, actually, to add on, I think we have a history of more than 175 years of military services. My grandfather was also in the army. So he served the British artillery, and then my father took over. Then, out of four siblings, somebody had to follow the regime. So I was the hardcore military opti. I think since a childhood, my father now tells me the stories that at the age of 3 to 4, I wanted to know how does a bomb is made. So whenever we
Wow.
used to get Diwali ka pataka and all, I used to open Sutli ka bomb and take out the barood of that and ikatta karo it in a polythene bag, and hide it in my cloth cupboards and hide it inside my bookshelves and all that. And someday my brother would take it out and he'll put it fire inside the house, and then my mother will beat me nice and proper. But that urge to know how to make a bomb continued till and until I grew. And my father knew that this girl is going to do something different. So my relatives started talking. They felt कि लड़की हाथ से निकल जाएगी, गुंडी बन जाएगी, टेररिस्ट बन जाएगी, संभाल लो, नहीं तो कष्ट हो जाएगा. But my father knew hearts of heart that the teachings, the upbringing is going in the right direction, and he wanted somebody to take on. With two sons, he maybe the opening was not there for females, but he said she will do something related to uniform, and that kept me going. My night dress were my father's old uniforms. I used to wear my father's shirt, put a belt on it, and that used to be my happy dress. Even for going out for picnics and all, also I used to wear my father's dress. फिर पिटाई होती थी, फिर निकाली जाती थी, फिर फ्रॉक पहनाया जाता था. So getting crazy over uniform, olive green. I am in love. I think since the day I would have opened and realized about the world, the most favorite color of mine is olive green. So कैसे जब मौका मिले तुम olive green को छोड़ सकते हो? कुछ और थोड़ी ना दिखेगा.
Hey, wow. I love that.
That
I
was
love
the
that spirit in
craziness
you.
and that was the madness about uniform. But as we
Wow.
grew up, I think Fauj was never an option because there was no opening for ladies, and it was a far दिल्ली बहुत दूर वाला रखा जो डायलॉग है वो नजर आता था हमें, क्योंकि फौज का कोई रास्ता नहीं था लेडीज के लिए. बट हमने सोचा, एंड आई थिंक कारवा ने हमें साथ दिया, और धीरे धीरे मकाम बनते गए और हम उसके आसपास पहुंचते गए. When I was in my final year of my college, the first advertisement of Air Force opened up for females. I was keeping my fingers crossed कि God, अब एयरफोर्स का निकला है, फिर नेवी का निकलेगा या आर्मी का निकलेगा, मेरा मौका जरूर आएगा. I was in the third year of my college. I was already NCC C certificate. I had represented Maharashtra
Wow.
state for Republic Day parade. जोश इतना ज्यादा था कि वो ओवरफ्लो हो रहा था. जहां मौका मिले यूनिफॉर्म का तुम निकाल के तजुर्बा दिखा रहे थे लोगों को कि हम कर सकते हैं, कुछ यूनिफॉर्म का काम कर सकते हैं. So in the final year, my father told me start preparing for IPS exams. UPSC exam will be the the target that I need to focus in next 2 to 3 years. And we started. Second year से पढ़ाई शुरू कर दी थी. कॉलेज में प्रैक्टिस करते थे दोस्तों के साथ बैठ के, क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करने चालू कर दिए थे, पेपर सॉल्व करने चालू कर दिए थे, इंटरव्यू की तैयारी चालू कर दी थी. सो जब पहला एडवर्टाइजमेंट एयरफोर्स का आया, 2 दिन के लिए थम गई थी दुनिया. बोला यार यूपीएससी एग्जाम नहीं, शायद फौज का दरवाजा खुलने वाला है अपने लिए. सो ये लगने लगा था कि हो सकता है एयरफोर्स खोल रहा है तो बाकी भी खुलेगा. फिर हमने 6 महीने इंतजार किया. आई थिंक 4 महीने के बाद नेवी का खुला. और जब हमने ग्रेजुएशन का एग्जाम दिया तो पहला एडवर्टाइजमेंट आर्मी के लिए, लेडी ऑफिसर्स के लिए खुला. तो बोला बस हमारा मार्ग हमें दिख गया है, अब हम कहीं और नहीं जाएंगे. आई विल फॉलो ऑलिव ग्रीन. I had cleared my Air Force interview also, but I got rejected in the helicopter pilot का, because of the, I think, torso height and leg height कुछ होता है उनके उसमें medical terms में. So I got medically rejected because my height was only 5'2". The minimum requirement was 5'5". So हमारी गाड़ी वहां रुक गई थी एयरफोर्स के लिए, क्योंकि मुझे ऑलिव ग्रीन पहननी थी. You see?
Exactly,
Yes.
man. बिल्कुल. That remind me of, गुंजन सक्सेना, सबने देखी होगी, वो भी
Yes,
हेलीकॉप्टर पायलट.
yes, Air Force officers. Yes. By the way, her coursemate is my husband's coursemate, Major Saxena. Yes. दुनिया छोटी है.
Okay. Her husband is your husband's coursemate.
No, her brother, her elder brother is my husband's coursemate.
Oh, okay, all
Yes,
right.
Anshuman
All right.
Saxena. She's
All
Anshuman
right.
Saxena's sister.
So
Colonel
her
Alagappa
elder
and Colonel
brother.
Anshuman Saxena are buddies. They have been together in IMA and all throughout.
Oh, lovely. So her brother अभी तो फौज में नहीं होंगे ना, फिर वो he would have
No,
left
he's
फौज.
still serving. He's still serving. My husband is also still serving.
Yeah, your husband is still serving. Okay. Oh, that's
Yes,
lovely.
yes, he's still serving.
That is lovely. Kudos. That's so amazing.
Yes.
Ma'am, तो ये बताइए, so you joined for after doing your MBA, you went to Sims, and उसके बाद
I think I had finished 1 year of my MBA, because I think I went for my first SSB. There were some issues. I didn't clear it in first SSB. While giving the second SSB, my exams clashed. So my father said कि पढ़ाई भी साथ में जारी रहनी चाहिए, पढ़ाई का ड्रॉप लेके फौज के सपने मत देखो. So जो आगे पढ़ रहे हो वो परीक्षा भी देते रहो और फौज भी दोनों साथ साथ करो. So I dropped out my second SSB. I waited for my third SSB. Then I was already in the part of my first year of MBA to finish. And that was a time when I was giving my exams and my SSB ka call came. So I walked up to the director, the dean of the academy, and I asked him, sir, I have this opportunity. What should I do? He was also an ex-Fauji, Mr. Bala Subramaniam, an infantry Jawan who took on to the education system outside, and he's flourishing like anything. Thorough gentleman. So he told me, lady, this is the first and the last opportunity which is knocking your door. You forget about your exam. Go and give your SSB. I got a second okay from another man who has been an ex-Fauji. My father told me, you take a call. You got to go. Please go. Tell the college that you will take the college exams in the absentees batch. And I did that. After a month, I gave the absentees batch in the college. But within a month's 45 days time, I was clear that I'm going to make it. Then फिर पढ़ाई को हमने left hand से thank you कर दिया.
अरे wow,
Yeah.
man. That is.
So that's how, like in almost like 90-95 days, I got the call letter and I joined the academy.
Wow,
So
I mean, that is.
wonderful journey. Yes.
That is so amazing. That's so amazing. Ma'am, तो ये बताइए, आपने बताया that you got through your SSB in your second attempt. So a message
yeah,
for
second attempt. Definitely second attempt.
So a message for people who did not get through in their first attempt in SSB. बहुत लोग जाते हैं and they get rejected. They feel very bad.
Actually, ऐसा बोला जाता है. The repeaters are most welcome to join the academy because वो थोड़े ज़्यादा समझदार होके आते हैं. That is the most important thing, you know. The repeaters are most welcome for the academies, you know. So don't shy away. I think if anybody is planning, please go back with your polished skills, hone your knowledge, go deeper into it, find out what mistakes you're doing, never repeat it. You will clear your SSB. I think that is a deeper message.
Absolutely, ma'am. There is a comment by Madhura P. Capt Asha, Jai Hind, ma'am, and Alisa, Jai Hind,
Yes.
Madhura Ji. Thank you for writing in. And ma'am, so that's a very, very good message you've given, a very motivational message. Ma'am, ये बताइए, आप जब ट्रेनिंग करने गई OTA, तो फर्स्ट डे कैसा लगा और सब्सिक्वेंटली कैसा लगा? बिकॉज बहुत भूत बना होगा, जाहिर सी बात है OTA में.
Yes.
Tell me that.
Actually, I come from a Fauji background, I have been an athlete also. In the college days, I participated at university level, national level. I have been a cross country runner. 5,000 meters and 10,000 meters were my best events in my college days. So, Academica, that 1.6 kilometer run was a cakewalk for me. And in 1.5 months time in the academy, I got the title of Flying PT Usha. And my PT Ustaz used to love to run with me. And we both never really sweated in the PT fields. It was only in the drill fields my uniform used to get sweat felt. Otherwise, in PT field, I never sweat because the complete training of PT was cakewalk. I could do it just like that. It was easy because I was a national athlete. I was running 5 and 10 kilometers, and 1.6 kilometers and 5 kilometers were nothing. So there were only two guys in the academy who used to run faster than me and my PT Ustad. So all five of us used to run together in the academy whenever it used to be a go. And all five of us used to close the closing timings also together almost with few seconds here and there. But I used to love running with my Ustad and these three boys in the academy. So that was the best part of running in the academy. But
Wow,
however,
man.
when we say academy ka ragda, in 1 month's time, even I had low backache, my knees, my ankles, my feet was full of blisters because वो 13 किलो वाले जो डीएमएस शू मिलते हैं जिसका एक एक जूते का वजन होता है 2.5 किलो जिसको तुम्हें पटकना पड़ता है oh god that was pain I still can't get over that thought कि it was so painful and उस्ताद used to give us 5 मिनट का ब्रेक और पता नहीं हम कितने लोग सावधान में खड़े होके भी सो सकते थे ड्रिल स्क्वायर पे तो जहां मौका मिलता था सो लो पता नहीं कब भूत आएगा ड्रिल का या कब भूत आएगा स्पोर्ट्स का और कब तुम्हारी जान खाएगा नींद ही नहीं पूरी होती थी everybody had to go through knee ankle pains. I think academy is actually one area which kills your ego, which puts you down on the ground and which makes you take ragda in the best way possible, and your sweat has to be sucked by the soil there. Only then you get up and start reviving as an officer. I think that is a talent which our ustads have got, PT ustads and drill ustads. They can really break you down. मिट्टी में मिसल देंगे तुमको, फिर वहां से एक नया बीज बोया जाता है जो तुम्हें एक नया रास्ता दिखाने का काम करता है, और फिर तुम धीरे धीरे एक छोटे से पौधे के रूप में कमीशन होते हो, और फिर वो पौधा धीरे धीरे बड़े होते होते एक 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 दशमी, 2 दशमी, 3 दशमी, 4 दशमी के बाद एक सुनहरा वृक्ष बनता है जो बाकी लोगों को सहारा दे सकता है. I think that is what is the thought of the academy.
Very well said by you. You are a true Fauji, in the real sense. And like we were speaking, and because I'm a brother officer, man, I have requested you, ma'am. I just my instructor, Subedar Major Vijay Kumar Saab, and
Yes.
ma'am, I'm very very gracious of you. You agreed, you consented straight away to a brother officer. I'm really grateful to you. So, iske liye, ma'am, खास तौर से especially the part I'm very intrigued by the fact that you were a national athlete. Tell us a bit about that, ma'am.
So actually what had happened is when I was in my sub-junior level in my schools, so there were inter-school competition and open championship was happening. So I told my dad कि dad मुझे athlete बनना है, तो मुझे एक अच्छे कोच की जरूरत है. So डैडी ने बोला ठीक है ढूंढो. So हमने गूगल किया, तब तो गूगल था नहीं, फोन वोन किया, दोस्तों को पूछा, तो किसी ने कोई सर का नाम बताया. This coach was Mr. Gujarati, and he was taking good classes, and the students were very 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 passionately people were following Gujarati sir in Pune as a coach. So I happened to go to him. My father told him कि जाओ संडे को निकल जाओ, जाके अपना टेस्ट दे के आओ, पास हो जाना. So there is a शिवा शिव जी की टेकड़ी है एक पुणे में, यरोडा के अंदर. If some people who know Yeroda, there is महादेव का मंदिर, and that height is pretty steep height.
I did my graduation from Ferguson College. तो मैं ऐसे
Yeah,
जानता
so
हूँ.
once you enter Yeroda, there is a महादेव की बहुत बड़ी मूर्ति है, और उस मूर्ति के वहीं से अभी तो इन्होंने सीढ़ियां बना दी है, पहले it used to be a road, कच्चा रास्ता. So he made me run over the hill on a कच्चा रास्ता, and he told me कि you finish the ऊपर जाओ and then I'll see you there. तो हमने भागना चालू किया, मतलब लाइक सांस बोलो, गर्दन बोलो, पेट बोलो, आथड़ियां बोलो, सब मुंह से बाहर लटकी हुई थी. बिकॉज हम इतने ज्यादा तो अच्छे रनर नहीं थे कि टेकड़ी के ऊपर हम टाइमिंग दे, और यहाँ पे इन्होंने हमारे गुजराती सर ने वहां हमारा टाइम लिया देखने के लिए कि टाइमिंग क्या देती है लड़की. तो हम हाफते हूफते चलते दौड़ते लटकते चलते किसी तरह से ऊपर पहुंचे, एंड देन आई न्यू कि आई एम नोवेयर, बिकॉज ही मेड मी रियलाइज कि नो विदाउट प्रैक्टिस दिस इज नॉट पॉसिबल. But what he told me was, made me stand there. He took my pulse, and then he kept his hand on my chest, and he told me to take the reading of his heart, my heart. So when I was doing that, he was also counting with me. Then he says, "Ki you have a palpitation in your heart. You never run on field. तुम collapse हो जाओगी, मारी जाओगी field में. Athletics is not your tournament." I was completely heartbroken, dejected. रोते रोते साइकिल उठाई, रोते रोते घर आए, कंटिन्यूअसली पूरा साइकिलिंग करते हुए रोते रोते घर आए. जब घर आए तो डैडी ने देखा, बोला क्या हुआ, गुजराती सर नहीं सिखा रहे? बोला नहीं डैडी, उन्होंने मुझे बोला कि भागो ही मत जिंदगी में, मैं शायद मर जाऊंगी क्योंकि मेरे दिल में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है. तो बोला यार डॉक्टर को पता नहीं चला, उस गधे को कैसे पता चल गया कि तेरे दिल में कुछ छेद है या कुछ है? तो बोला नहीं वो कुछ तो बोल रहा था, पैल्पिटेशन वाला प्रॉब्लम. तो बोला गोली मार, इधर से सुन, इधर से निकाल डाल, एज अ ट्रू फौजी. इस कान से सुनना और इस कान से निकाल देना, किसी के बोले पे वो नहीं, विश्वास नहीं करना. कल सुबह से मैं तेरी ट्रेनिंग चालू करता हूँ. रोज सुबह 5 बजे डैडी उठते थे. डैडी अपना स्कूटर उठाते थे. हमारे पास एलएमएल वेस्पा स्कूटर था, पुराना वाला एलएमएल लेबरेटा स्कूटर बोला जाता था वो. तो डैडी अपने स्कूटर को किक मारते थे, आधे रास्ते तक ले जाते थे धीरे धीरे स्पीड से. एंड ही यूज्ड टू टेल मी कि कंटिन्यू जॉगिंग, व्हेन यू फील वेरी टायर्ड वॉक 20 स्टेप्स एंड अगेन स्टार्ट जॉगिंग. सो आई यूज्ड टू डू हाफ वे थ्रू एंड देन यूज्ड टू से कि अब मैं जा रहा हूं यहां से, तो अपने आप वापस आ जाना. So he did that activity with me for 5 days. After 5 days, you told me you're on your own. You will go running and come back running. 7th day, I was able to go back jogging, come back running. And I continued to do this from 8th standard of my schools to 12th standard of my school. I was a student of KV AFS Logaon 1. And I think thereafter, nothing stopped me. In 8th standard, I was called to polish the best lady sportswoman का trophy. And that was a time when I felt कि यार ये ट्रॉफी के ऊपर कहीं मेरा नाम भी तो आ सकता है. 8वीं क्लास में हमने सोचा था. एंड 11th स्टैंडर्ड के अंदर आने के बाद हमारा पहली बार नाम आया उस पे. There are only 3 names which are repeaters. In 12th also, I continue to get my name again on the trophy. The trophy is a rolling trophy and it is still there in my schools. I have gone back and checked. My name is still there on the trophy. That's the best part.
Wow.
There have been few more names added for so many years, but my name still exists. It is written Star. Asha Shinde with Star. Star means I'm a repeater of the trophy for the second year, consecutive year.
Wow, man. That is so
Yes.
inspiring. And then when after that you graduated on to your state level and national. Tell us about that, man.
Yes. So state level was in the schools. I participated inter-school competition, and then there is something known as national level. So I was still part of sub-juniors. When I went on to 11th and 12th standard, my father told me, Asha, you are a female and a career of a woman in sports is too less. Very small career. So you should pursue your studies also. Never become dull and dumb in your studies so that you can stand on your education qualification and fight for your rights. If you're educated well, you would know what is right and what is wrong. If you're not educated well, your sports will not make you stand for a career for a longer period. So I concentrated on my studies also. That's when this little bit of, I think, slowing down came in the sports. But when I went to college, a CBSE student going into a state level college at Maharashtra, I think it was amazing because whatever we studied in our 12th, 11th and 12th, the complete thing was repeated in our college days for graduation. So I started scoring very well in my studies and I started doing very well in my sports career also. And thank goodness I was part of NCC. I went on to become the Republic Day Parade participant in 91, 92. I also went on to take on the gold medal in basic leadership training camp. So you name it, anything and everything, it was coming my way. I think वो बोला ना हमने जो एक बार तुम सोचो और karma अपने आप रास्ते बनाते जाता है आपके लिए. I think भगवान को लगने लगा था कि अब इसको इसका सुख देना चाहिए.
Wow.
I think that's where the destiny was making way for me. And it was building me for a much bigger task which was not known to me. And slowly, slowly things started falling in place. And I enjoyed every bit of it. I was the most notorious student in the college. And I happened to be as a nominated college representative, which is known as a nominated UR of Wadia College. I was elected when I was in my second year. My principal had called me and he told me that there is no other student in the college who is as decorated and as good scorer in the academics. So we would like to nominate you as the college UR. So I was also nominated in my second year and third year as a college UR. So that is another feather in the cap, you know.
Wow,
Yes.
really.
So this journey has been wonderful. I have enjoyed every bit of this thing, you know. As a kid, there were little bit ups and downs. My mother was not well. I think there was a robbery in a house. In third and fourth standard, that was a time when my father took it to his heart when the robbery took, because my mother got stuck in the traumatic situation of the robbery. She could never be recovered, and a lot of treatment went on to her for a few years. I think it continued for 24 years. It was very difficult phase of our life. Since the third standard of my schooling till the college part, I think major part of sharing I've done it with my father. We used to be like, night owlies, sitting and studying and all, and then doing a lot of things with my father for my studies and all. I had completely got dejected because of this incident in the house. And there were some incidents where my mother didn't want me to study and she wanted me to stay home with her. But my father continued and he told me to pursue my studies all throughout. So there were some ups and downs of studies. I went down in my studies, but I think I recovered very well in my college days. I scored in 90s in geography as a specialization, and in economics about 80% in my college days. So that is a wonderful, wonderful score for me.
Wow, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry to touch upon this chord, and it's a very, very touchy issue for you. Ma'am, about the robbery when you mentioned, ma'am, it's certainly, जब theft होती है, मैं पढ़ा कहीं पे कि एक dream में somebody was being robbed in someone's house. तो the
Mhm.
person wanted to shout in his
Mhm.
dream कि भाई कि
Mhm.
robbery हो रही है. तो उसके मुंह से डर के मारे, फौजी है अपना, हाँ, very
Yeah.
brave guy, तो उसके मुंह से आवाज नहीं निकल रही.
Yes. I think,
तो दब गई थी
yeah.
आवाज. जी.
So
So,
we were supposed to
जी.
go on holiday next day. So my father had taken out his PF funds के अंदर से some money because he wanted to buy some farming land in the village. And my mother had taken out her jewelry from the locker and all that, and it was packed. Next day, 7 o'clock was our train. We were supposed to catch the train, and the robber very well knew कि माल भी है, सोना भी है, पैसा भी है, और सब कुछ शायद इनके जाने वाले सूटकेस के अंदर ही है. So he knew what to do. We all were there sleeping in the house. 3 BHK का कमरा, दो बहनें, दो भाई एक कमरे में, अलग अलग कमरे में, मम्मी डैडी एक कमरे में. और हमारे सबके ऊपर कुछ स्प्रे किया गया था, मोस्ट प्रोबब्ली बिकॉज when the police people came, they found something lying in the the balcony से जो नीचे फेंका हुआ था. The dog could smell and get that for us, and they said कि most probably it was a planned. And we were living in a फौजी quarter. मिलिट्री घर में रह रहे थे हम. मिलिट्री क्वार्टर के अंदर चोरी हुई. So that's a sad part. But I think my mother took it to her heart. She took the blame completely on her, saying that कि मेरे घर में रहते चोरी कैसे हुई, and she lost it there completely. It was difficult for her to revive her. I think it took 24 to 26 years to revive her and get her back to normal. By then we all had grown and most of us got married. Where in these years my mother used to treat us like कि नहीं तुम्हें आज स्कूल नहीं जाना है, तुम स्कूल नहीं जाओगी. So all that, because her mind was stuck there in that time. It was difficult for her to be, getting to normal.
Yeah.
So I think that is a part of little sour part of our childhood. But being naughty, the problem used to stay in the house, and I used to go back to school, enjoy as much as possible, and again come back with a black coat कि अच्छा अब घर में आ गए हैं, घर में तो प्रॉब्लम है. So घर में तो प्रॉब्लम है और घर का प्रॉब्लम we need to resolve it later. अब कल का स्कूल का कल में देखेंगे. So घर अलग था, स्कूल अलग था. So that was the best part. And I used to share my stories with my father in the evening when we used to sit around 10:30, 11. My father used to sit with me to make me studies, do my studies. And for 2 hours,
Ma'am,
we both used to sit and study together when the complete family was sleeping. He said, this is the best time for you and follow this habit. And even today I do that. कुछ भी पढ़ना होता है किसी एग्जाम के लिए, हम 11 बजे किताब खोलते हैं, 1:30-2 बजे तक पढ़ते हैं, फिर सोते हैं.
that is so sweet. But
Yeah.
did you इसके ऊपर आपने I'm sure FIR हुई होगी, तो कुछ पकड़ा में नहीं आया चोर?
I think 15 साल तक FIR का कुछ वो नहीं आया, and then they closed the case after 15 years. They didn't find anything.
Oh, I'm so sorry
It
to
was
hear
a
that.
difficult robbery, or rather the चोर was really smart. कोई नई पिक्चर रिलीज हुई होगी चोरी करने की, इससे देख के उसने चोरी की. So we lost it completely. कुछ नहीं मिला हमें.
Ma'am, so let's come to your book. Very, very interesting.
Yes.
Something which
Yes.
you have worked very hard. I know it is not easy to write a book. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of sweat, a lot of the midnight oil, a lot of concentration, a lot of thoughts, a lot of emotions put together, in fact. So let's come to that interesting part. So what provocated you, what intrigued you initially कि भाई मेरे को किताब लिखनी है? And tell me, from the time of inception of writing this book till now, और इसका कवर मैंने देखा है, बहुत ही खूबसूरत है, and I am few lucky ones. You had shared the draft of the cover last
Yes.
month. That this is the cover I am finalizing, and how do you like it? I like it's beautiful, man. So tell me
Yes.
about the how you conceptualize about writing a book, man.
Actually, once I made it into SSB and got posted to few places where, like, a fair skin in uniform was a rare commodity. So my second posting was Gangtok. When I got posted to Gangtok, that was a time, मतलब लाइन लगी रहती थी मेल ऑफिसर्स की, आके लेडी ऑफिसर को यूनिफॉर्म में देखने की. And every senior officer wanted to see a lady in uniform. It was like a maddening craze. So I told my CEO, sir, we're not showpieces. I'm doing my job. Whenever there is a time, I will go and meet people. But specifically मिलने के लिए आप काम मत निकालो. उल्टा होता था. So then I said कि सर जो toughest काम है वो मुझे दो. So in 17 DOU, being a mountain regiment or a mountain div, I took on the role of conditioning and advisory officer there, where extreme clothing, winter clothing was a big issue. The normal life cycle concepts were a big issue. Rubber and expendable items were a big issue because being a mountain terrain and Gangtok spread out from northern Sikkim to south and east Sikkim of complete. There were huge border lines of India and China. Though it was peaceful, but it was need to be manned by soldiers. And then I had to reach out to all these border units. So many times acclimatization was an issue, and I was told that I can't stay up in beyond 15,000 feet because I was almost crossing 18,000, 17,000 for conditioning board, and I used to fall back to 5 mile where at 5,000 feet where we had our ammunition point. So one odd day I was doing my conditioning board and all, and then things were like, okay, ye ho raha hai, wo ho raha hai. So there were civilian girls also coming. So I said, yaar, ladkiyan. So I happened to ask one of them. They said, nee, ma'am, it is so inspiring to see a woman in uniform. We also want to do. So there were 2, 3 Bhutia girls who were doing good in studies. So I started motivating them. I said, you can also join Fauj. They said, yahan kahan, koi batane wala nahi. I said, live example hai, main hu. So I trained these 2, 3 girls there, and they happened to, go through the. One of them had taken NCC, so she came. She used to started coming to my unit at Bardong, which was at 1,500 feet from Gangtok. From 0 mile, she used to come down to Bardong for training, for being with me and spending some time. So my CEO told me, "What are you doing?" I said, "Sir, some part of giving back to society." That was a time when I told her ki how we can be different as females and create an aura of us by making us a true soldier. Yes, we are weak somewhere, but the willpower has to be strong. You need to have that gut feeling कि यार ये कर सकते हैं, थोड़ी प्रैक्टिस करके इसको तोड़ा जा सकता है, माउंटेन क्लाइम किया जा सकता है. फर्स्ट गो में नहीं होगा, लेकिन फिफ्थ गो, 10th गो में मैं जरूर माउंटेन क्लाइम करूंगी. Are you willing to sweat? Are you willing to put in that hard work? So I challenge the girls to do that. From the psychological point of view, who has no knowledge about any Fauji background, to build her up to understand about Fauj, I needed to learn more and more about Faujis. कि फौजी सोचते कैसे हैं, जीते कैसे हैं, करते कैसे हैं. So I used to be always with men. फौज ने मौका इतना अच्छा दिया था कि lady, like I never had a buddy also. I had one junior who was with only 6 months of training, 6 months of commissioning date. She was got posted immediately, and then I had to groom her to a great extent. Looking after a lady in uniform who's just born and training a lady who's going to wear uniform. I think these two areas opened a huge vision for me to start making, notes. Since then, I'm talking of is of 90, 97, 98. Since then, I continue to make my notes till the era of 10 years. 10 years में मैंने बहुत बच्चों को मदद किया. Whatever I told them, I made notes and all. And by then I came and developed a doctrine of myself, saying that कि नहीं यार, there are some cardinal principles which we female have to follow to break the task that is given to you, to break the barrier of feeling lost and uncomfortable. And then when I started using this logic and this strategy created by me, I think it turned out to be a fantastic game changer for most of the students who came to me. And I started taking pride in owning this thought कि I can guide students and I can support them. Hearts of heart, I used to be fearful कि यार ये बच्चा नहीं हुआ तो disheartened हो जाएगा. But when they used to come back, I used to tell them, no worries. You're a repeater now. You go with more josh, more learning and more experience. And then these very basic fact of mine, by putting in the lifeline into them again, I think it became a rule of and it spread like a fire, word of mouth. People started following me. Most of the students Then I think mobiles and all were not popular. So one told to his friends, his and her friends knew. I have been having students from Northeast till now. It's been 29 years I get students from Northeast because those three girls created a history there. One of them made it into Fauj, that NCC girl. She joined army in not in the first attempt, second and third attempt she cleared and she became an officer already. So that was a thing which created history in Gangtok area and then followed up in all the places wherever I have been continuing my service and continue to move with my husband. There used to be a flock of students who used to catch me, school students, college going students, and then they would like to know more about it. Like we are talking now. One Fauji talking to another Fauji. I think you don't need breaks and you don't need khana pani and you don't need timeline to be followed, It just goes on. It's like a
Absolutely.
catch. It's like a mental block and a mental catch, which we know that we are on the
Absolutely.
same grid and we resonate each other's thought. And it just flows.
Absolutely.
Thoughts keep flowing without thinking. So similarly, it just continued. And then when I realized that this is a time, 2015, when I came back, when I had some my health issues and all, and I felt कि यार जिंदगी हाथ से जा सकती है. और ये जो एक छोटा सा सपना था कहीं अंदर मैंने दबा के रखा था कि मुझे लिखना है कुछ, ये धीरे धीरे बाहर आने लगा. 2015 was a time when I challenged myself कि यार मुझे किताब लिखनी है. तब मैंने किताब के बारे में ढूंढना, पूछना, पढ़ना चालू किया कि किताब कैसे लिखते हैं. कोई गुरु नहीं मिला मुझे. 2015 से लेकर के 2020 तक मुझे कोई गुरु नहीं मिला. मिले बहुत, लेकिन उन्होंने बोला ना तुम्हारे बस का खेल नहीं है. डोंट इवन थिंक अबाउट इट. बुक राइटिंग, नो यू आर नॉट बॉर्न टू राइट बुक. अगले जन्म में लिखना. So we left. Like many others, I also left it. But that urge to write, I have scribbled a lot of notes here and there, lot of thoughts here and there. My diaries are still with me. There are 7-8 of them जिसमें मैंने कुछ लिखा हुआ है. So finally in 2011, when I joined Iron Lady as my company, there was this one lady who had written her book. And she said, I can do a teaching session for you people for writing book. And then the life came back. I said, wow, I want to learn how to write a book. And I did a 3-month course with her. Her name is Manju. She told us how to write a book. But then I felt कि नहीं यार, इतना बेसिक अगर क्योंकि मेरा इतने दिनों का अंदर से वो दबा हुआ है. So I went on to read, follow Dr. Manjunath, who is a Horatius brain coach guide or somebody who is also into reading books, how to write a book, how to understand a book. So I did a course with him. Then Som Batla, I followed him for writing books. And then I got the confidence and then I said, yes, now is the time when I can put my thoughts into a book form. And I started writing with my first book. But my first book was sort of a memogram. And I felt कि नहीं, I need to create a handbook for students. So I held on to this and I started working on the second book as a handbook. So this book that you're referring, the cover that I've shared with you, is a second brainchild of writing a second book of mine. And first book is on hold. Rather, it will continue for another 4-5 months. I need to close in a lot of part of my personal stories as friction stories because it is coming up a memogram friction story. I can't write an autobiography completely. So it will come up as a memogram friction story. But this book will definitely help a lot of students to create a self-aura, a self-awareness, and a self, inside-out learning. There is a concept of outside-in learning. I am trying to tell students to do an inside-out learning. You find out what your weaknesses are first. Work on that, and then start polishing it. And then you know what you are and where you have to go, and then bridge the gap. It is possible to do that. Because the circumstances in which you grow are very different and we all do not have the same qualities. But the inert quality of becoming a soldier, if you have it, you will always have it. And that will make you hone it and polish it to a great extent. And you will outshine the SSB exams and all, and you'll clear your SSB and make it to be an officer. I think that is what is a crux of this book writing. So I thought, let me make an attempt and write this book. So that's how I finished this book. I think it still needs a lot of reviews and all, but my book is getting published. I'm very happy about it. It is getting published.
Ma'am, great. That's great news. I mean, like really super excited about your book. And in fact, I am privileged and honored gentleman, ladies and gentlemen. Ma'am has asked me to write a small little review or a small
Yeah, I
book.
definitely want a review from that on the book.
Sure, ma'am. 100%. It is
Yes.
so cool, and it's going to be a bestseller. and I'm sure it's going to be available on Flipkart, on
थैंक यू
Amazon,
सो मच. आपके
and
आपके मुंह में कढ़ाई का भरा हुआ घी एंड चिकन.
and it will be available on all the leading bookstores and the bookstore
Yes,
store near you. Just
yes,
go ahead and grab your copy, and you can get it signed by ma'am as well. You can contact ma'am. Ma'am is very much on
absolutely. We
LinkedIn,
can do that activity for
Instagram,
a
Facebook.
pre-launch.
Ma'am, would you like to share your social media handles, ma'am? Please.
Yes, so you can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. LinkedIn is Captain Asha Alagappa. If you search, you will get it. I think on Facebook also you have to search Captain Asha.Alagappa. You'll find me there. And on Instagram, I think it is Asha Shinde Alagappa. Asha.Alagappa. If you find, you'll find me there. Okay.
Great, ma'am. Ma'am, it was wonderful being in conversation with. Thank you very much for taking your time, and your book is going to be a roaring success.
Thank you so much for the blessings. I would love to take that.
Ma'am. Take care, ma'am. My regards to everyone, ma'am. Jai
Thank
Hind,
you so
ma'am.
much. Thank you so much. Personal thanks to you too for getting this organized. Very humble and kind of you to have given value to time, and
Thank you.
I honor your time value here. Thank you so much for a wonderful opportunity speaking to you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Jai Hind,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Jai Hind.
Just